Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Butterfly Kisses, a journey of spiritual transformation. I am, as always, your host, Amy Gray-Cunningham, and thank you for joining me for another amazing episode today. Today, I am joined by Debbie Freeman. Now, for 16 years, Debbie was married to an addict who lied, cheated, and stole from her. And during that time, Debbie struggled with her self-confidence and believing in her own self-worth. She was basically beaten down. And in this episode, Debbie shares with us the heartbreak she felt when her husband said he just didn't love her anymore. She was 100 pounds overweight. And at this moment, Debbie made a promise to God that she would never give up on herself. As a single mother of two children, Debbie wanted to be a good role model for them. So she went on a journey of losing the weight. She got in shape. And at 51 years old, she became the United States of America Miss Nevada 2021. Amazing. So how did Debbie do this, and what was the turning point for her? Find out this and so much more as my conversation unfolds with Debbie Freeman. Also, just to give you a sneak peek into next Sunday's episode, I am talking with Roxanne, who is a life and love coach, an inspirational speaker, a spiritual guide, and energy healer. Roxanne guides people who are in a transition to create lasting sustainability in their life. She does this by empowering her clients to make positive changes and create a soul-filled life at the cellular level. Very interesting episode. So please join me on Sunday, the 14th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for this inspirational conversation with Roxanne. And please don't forget to subscribe on Apple or whatever app you're listening to this podcast on. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. All the links are provided in the show notes for you. And you can also go to my website at ButterflyKissesPodcast.com to sign up for my weekly newsletter. This way you won't miss it when a new episode becomes available. And also, if you could do me a favor, if you like what you hear on Butterfly Kisses, please leave us a review. 5 stars would be awesome, and I thank you ahead of time. And also, please share this podcast, this episode, with your friends and family. The more we can inspire others to shine their light, the more impact we can make on the world. So now let's get to my inspirational conversation with Miss Debbie Freeman. And also, my friends, always remember to spread your gorgeous wings and fly. Everyone, please help me welcome Debbie Freeman. Debbie, welcome to Butterfly Kisses.
Thank you, Amy. I'm so excited to be here on Butterfly Kisses with you today. I hope that I can inspire and motivate anybody going through any kind of hardships in their lives. We all have our own journeys that, God takes us on, and just realizing that those journeys are the ones that are meant for us.
It's what I all signed up for in this lifetime. Yes.
It is. And you could say, why, a lot of people will think, well, why is God having me go through this? Why? And just accept it. There is a reason for everything that he does. And just know that always have hope. I truly believe that my best life is ahead of me. I've had a wonderful life. I have 2 beautiful children, and you've kind of already told my whole story there, Amy.
I'm sorry. I was like, wow. I just this past weekend, I just turned 51. And if I could, I remember, how old was I? 16, 17 years old. My mother decided that I was going to enter a beauty contest. I couldn't even be a tree in a school play. And she wanted me to enter a beauty contest, and I had to come up with a talent, and with the help of the choir director at the church, to come up with singing Under the Boardwalk. That was going to be my talent. Every time I hear that song, it takes me right back to being in this beauty pageant. And I ended up quitting right beforehand. And my grandfather, bless his heart, he was going to walk me into the pageant, and he had bought a tuxedo and the whole 9 yards, but I could not do it. I was so terrified of being seen that I could not do it. So for you to go on and win the Miss Nevada. Wow.
I know it's the title is like, there's so many different titles. This is United States of America, Ms., because I'm over 29. And so the Ms. Nevada 2021 was my title. I am now Ms. Nevada Classic Universe 2022.
Very nice.
Thank you. I'm getting ready to go. I'm going into a pageant again here in July, which will be the international. So I'm going for an international title. So as you can see, my journey has not stopped. So I think a lot of people, my spiritual journey was, of course, going through the divorce and gaining that 100 pounds. And I made that promise to God in sickness and in health that I was going to be with this partner of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to go visit him in rehab, and I asked him, you guys didn't hear this part of the story, but I had woken up one day and he had had a DUI, and he basically totaled his vehicle, got thrown in jail. And the next morning I realized when he didn't come home that he had stolen our whole savings account.
Mm.
And that was a lot of money because it was 12 years that we lived in our home and we had just sold our home. And I was just getting ready to sign the lease agreement on my brand new dance studio.
Mm.
Okay. So anyway, make a long story short, I went to the rehab place and I saw him. I said, how many times did you cheat on me? How many times have you lied to me? And he said to me, Debbie, it doesn't really matter. It's been so many times, it doesn't even matter. And right there, I knew that he didn't respect me because I didn't care that I was hurting and my feelings inside, that I wanted some answers, and not knowing was hurting me. So he didn't care. That was definitely a not care. Then I said, do you love me? And he says, I love our kids. And I finished up the conversation, and I'll never forget walking out to the car. It's just as clear as day. I felt like angels were releasing me of this big weight off my shoulders. And I felt this whole aura of just happiness of, Debbie, you get to be yourself. You're in charge of your life. This person had held me down for 16 years. Being with an addict, it was like every month I'd have to pay this one, but I couldn't pay this bill. Pay this bill and not this bill. It was, my feet were stuck in the ground. I couldn't move forward, I couldn't, because I was just stuck. And so anyway, here it was, God was releasing me, saying, you did everything that you could, Debbie. I would have gone to counseling. I would have done anything. I was ready. And he released me. And I just said, wow, it was the best feeling in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I was 100 pounds heavier. I said to myself, I have 2 beautiful children. I said, I'm going to be their inspiration. I'm going to be their role model. I have to show them what it's like to get through this world and to have goals, to go for them, and never give up on anything, especially yourself. So that's what I decided to do. I started, there's no trick here, you guys. Diet and exercise.
There's no magic pill.
No, there's no magic pill. I hate to tell you. Everyone wants that magic pill, but the truth is, you have to have desire. What is your desire for the thing that you want? I wanted to be, my desire to be this role model for my kids was so strong. I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to give up for them and myself. I had a new goal, right? Go on this journey. And as I did, I lost 100 pounds. And I used to choreograph for all the Mrs. Nevada America pageants, collegiate, high school, princess pageants. And so anyway, the director saw me and she says, Debbie, wow, you look great. And I said, ha ha, wouldn't it be, too bad I can't do the Mrs. Nevada this year because I was married. And she goes, no, Debbie, but you can. Give me a call. I have some news to tell you. So they opened it up, the Miss division, MISS, for single and widowed women. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, I joined that pageant when I was 49 years old. I ended up becoming first runner up and stood right next to a 22-year-old.
Whoa. You go, girl.
If that just didn't make me feel amazing. It didn't matter if I won, and the experience was so wonderful. And basically, Amy, my podcast, Your Unique Sparkle, that's what it's all about, is inspiring women to just go out and be their best selves. There's such a stigma on beauty pageants of just the competitiveness, the petty talk. I met some of my best friends are all from this beauty pageant. And
Mhm.
we've stayed in touch for 2 years. We go out, we support each other. We do things for St. Jude. We do things for this nonprofit. All these things we are doing together, these women. And I'm having such a blast just because we have something in common, is that we just want to live our best life and be our best selves. And when you have friends like that, you
Mhm.
are the company you keep.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
these
yeah.
these are women that want to go out and change the world. They want to make a difference and they want to help others. I want to be a part of that. So that's what I'm all about, is helping people. Maybe here listening today is going through something where they've come into a life place and they don't know if they should turn left or right or where to go. Which road should they take? They've got questions on their minds. I know what that's like. And to be at 49 years old, and when I got divorced, I think I was 47. I didn't know what I was going to do. Here I am, single. I got to date a kid. What? Oh, I can tell you some stories there, but we'll leave that for another podcast, Amy.
Yes. Yeah, I can only imagine. I've got some single friends too, and they're like, ooh, the dating scene. Yes.
Yes, but I have to say the best thing about all of this is just that I've been able to work on myself. And I was going to tell your audience, your viewers, starting every day with a gratitude journal is a wonderful thing, just to get you on the right frame of mind for your day. And I don't know, a lot of people already know that.
Mm-hmm.
Just starting your day and changing it up every day, just thinking of being grateful. You ever wake up and you stub your toe on the side of the bed and you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next thing you spill your coffee on your outfit that you're just going to wear to work. And it's like this rippling effect of just, and sometimes you just have to sit back and take a breath and go, breathe it in, let it out, and just have faith. God's got you. He's got your back, and you're going to move some mountains today. That's what I say to myself. I've got this. Debbie, you got this. And don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Amy, you were scared and terrified, right? I kind of think I'm a crazy person because I don't want to, well, here's the thing, is that we only live one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want fear to get in the way of me doing something, so that someday down the road, I think back and go, gosh, I wish I would have done that. And I had that happen. I'll have a story for you, Amy. When I was a little girl, I went to Disneyland, or Knott's Berry Farm, I don't know, one of those places, right? And we went into this saloon show. And I'll never forget the stars up on the stage. They asked me They wanted a little girl to come up on the stage and do something with them. And I said, no, and I'm scared and terrified, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course they picked somebody else because they got to move on. And as a child, I'll never forget leaving that show and going, I wish I had gone up there.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had done that.
Mm-hmm.
And for me now, I'm going to do it. And I don't really worry about what others think of me because it's what I think of me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important, is how I feel about myself. And I'm not perfect. I'm not the prettiest girl just because I have a pageant title. I like to think I'm beautiful inside and out. And do I make mistakes? Oh God, yes, I make plenty of mistakes. And I can even say I have hair that grows on my chin. You can't see it because I've already shaved this morning. I am a real person, just like everybody else. We all have our flaws, and it's what makes us beautiful and unique, right?
I love that. I do have to say that not attending that pageant when I was in high school is probably one of the things that I regret the most. If I could go back and do that over again, I probably would. Would I do a pageant now? Probably not. Although when I do hear Under the Boardwalk, I do belt it out because I know every word to it now. Am I going to sing it for you now? Not a chance. But
and just being in this other pageant, I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and I'm already pumping other people to come join the pageant with me, even in my division. It doesn't matter to me because I just want to meet like people that want to work on themselves and just live a better life and have some fun. That's what I really enjoy about it.
Yeah, well, that is awesome because that I'm right there with you. That's the one thing I love. And I love doing new things and trying out new adventures because it's all about having the experience.
Yes.
And enjoying the experience, because that's what we're here for, is having the experience and enjoying the life that we have. And if it means getting up, and I have gotten up on stage. I have emceed. I have been a host in front of, I have actually done speeches in front of 500 people.
Yeah.
And for me, that's huge, especially since I was supposed to be a tree in a school play with 50 people in there, and I couldn't even do that. So that's a big deal for me nowadays. So I was pretty amazed at myself. Now, let me ask you this. How did you go from being a wife who was married to an addict, who obviously there was a lot of dysfunction in the marriage? And I know for myself, I've had life as being addicted to drugs and certain things. And I know the life for myself was very chaotic. And there was a lot of turmoil for myself in that life. And I caused a lot of turmoil for people around me.
Right.
How did you go from that life? And I know that you had said that there was a desire. What sparked that desire? What was that? And I know that you walked out and you were like, I'm free. And you wanted to, but where did that come from? Does that make sense?
Yes. And here's something that I heard, which I thought was really interesting the other day. I was listening to this podcast, and he was talking about how like anger is something that sparks us. When we're angry, we get upset, but some people, they use it in a way to where we do these loop thoughts in our mind and we get mad, like, how could they do that to me? Blah, 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 blah. Right. But taking that anger, just like a very smart man, Martin Luther King, he had anger, right? But he didn't use anger. He had desire to make a change, right? So taking that anger, my husband had lied, stole, and cheated many times. The whole week he was gone, that week when he got thrown in jail, he had emails of all these women. He was meeting one the next day probably spending that money. Who knows what they were going to do with it? He led this whole separate life that I didn't even know about, right? So you could imagine I felt like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I had lived with this man for 16 years of my life. At night, I would say, "Are you coming to bed?" He'd say, "Yeah, I'm coming." He would never come to bed. We'd be together maybe once a year. And when he'd come, I'd built up so much resentment. I said, "Well, it's been a year." And he'd be like, "No, you were exaggerating, Debbie. It's not been a year." And I said, "Oh, yes, it was last Valentine's Day. I do remember."
Mm-hmm.
Part of that right there took my self-confidence. I thought it was ugly. And then you sit there and you go, "Well, if you don't want to be around me, then I might as well just eat."
Mm-hmm.
I didn't cheat on him. I didn't do anything. I was a faithful wife, but he had his illness and he was his own. You can't change people. People are who they are. I had married somebody I didn't realize that I didn't realize this.
Would you change anything now, knowing who you are now and going through those experiences that has made you who you are? Would you change anything?
No, I have two beautiful kids. And that's why I say I could go, I've missed out on this, that, and the other, but it was my journey that I was supposed to take. And I truly, Amy, I'm happy. I'm truly happy. And that goes internally. It's not because of the money I have in the bank or the car that I drive. I mean, how many millionaires do we know that are not happy? They end up dying on overdose or whatever. So many people, "I'm going to be happy when I blah, 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 blah." Well, they get there and they're still not happy. So it's finding that happiness within yourself, living with gratitude, that's going to give you just being in the present moment. And so many of us forget to do that. We're always thinking about the future. I got to get here. I got to get here. And we're so anxious that we're not even experience life right here as we know it. Or we're thinking about the past. And now you can't even have conversations with people without thinking about somebody in the past that maybe did you wrong. And you're afraid this person's going to do you wrong. Let it go. Let it go. Do I worry about other people treating me bad? Men? Well, yeah, I do. But I have to give people a chance because everybody's different. So that's something that I work on and help God to help me, just to have faith in Him that whatever journey I'm on, it's the one I'm supposed to be on, and that's the one He wants me to take. It's in His timing, not mine.
Now, I hear in your story, there has to be some level of forgiveness for yourself and for him. Have you forgiven him and yourself in order to move forward? And how did you do that?
Absolutely. That's a great question, Amy, because so many of us, we don't forgive completely. Did I forget? No, I won't forget. But I forgive. He had his journey too that he had to live. So did I understand it? No. But that is for him, and that's for God to judge, not me. So many of us have divorces and we have kids, and then we use the kids as pawns to get back at somebody. But when you do that, all you're really doing is causing hatred within yourself. He doesn't know how I feel. So if I'm like, it doesn't hurt him. All you're doing when you hang on to anger is you hurt yourself. He doesn't feel it. Just because I'm angry at him, he doesn't feel it. He only knows how I respond to things. That's it. He doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I let it go because my kids are more important here. They need to have both parents. They don't need me, their dad calls and he says, "Can I have him this weekend?" I'm like, "Sure." look, I've got to go do this thing. Can you pick them up? Can they come to your house this week? Or can you help me get Austin to basketball practice? We are great co-parents, and it works so wonderfully
That's
because,
awesome.
yeah, because we help each other, and the kids get to live a beautiful life, and they don't feel, I don't want my kids to feel any kind of difference to where they grow up and go, well, our parents were divorced. And no, I am happy that he gives them whatever he gives them. I give them whatever I can give them. We are giving them the best life. And that's why I brought them into this world. Yeah.
So were they well adjusted and doing well since the divorce?
So it was really hard for them because, growing up, mommy didn't work as much.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy I was super mom. That's what my friends would call me. You were a super mom. I was always at the basketball practices and this practice and that practice and taking them all over the place, throwing parties for my kids and all of these wonderful things. I mean, it was so wonderful. And
Mm-hmm.
now I have a full-time job plus my hobby because I have to have a creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
That for me, I'm still living life. And that's the thing is we could throw ourselves into our job and then we don't have energy for anything else. I don't want to be my job. My job is my
Mm-hmm.
job. I go, I come home, take my paycheck, support my kids. And then from there, I do all the creative things that I want to do. I love helping people, and I'll be doing that forever.
Well, speaking of helping people, how do you work with women who are in the same situation you were in and they want to lose weight or they want to leave the relationship that they're in now or find themselves again? What are some steps that you can tell people who are in that situation and they want to start to live the best life they can, or they want to regain their self-confidence and they want to start moving forward? They have that desire, but they just don't know where to begin. How did they begin?
Exactly. Well, if they've got that desire, all right. I am a certified health and life coach. So I do help people that way. If anybody'd like to get in touch with me, they can at youruniquesparkle@gmail.com. They're more than welcome to find me there. I do have my podcast, Your Unique Sparkle, with inspiration and motivational stories as well, just like Amy here. And basically, a good tip to do is to see yourself, visualize where you want to be. What kind of life do you want to live? And I think that's finding out and just being honest with yourself. Write it out if you have to. All right. But if we don't know where we're going, we're going to get there. It's like the GPS, and that GPS is going to take you on different roads. And sometimes you may hit a roadblock. You have to take a right turn right here. And you do take that right turn, but never, ever give up.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever way you go, I'm still learning. We're always learning. It doesn't matter what age you are. And that's the wonderful thing, is that we are so blessed to have the internet. I mean, look at how much we have accessible to us now. We live in a great era. So take advantage of that. Learn, get online, read books. From there, and just visualize where you see yourself and come out with a plan, a map. From there, map out, where do you see yourself in 3 months from now? Write it out. I'm going to do this. Take an action step. Where do you see yourself a year from now? Write it down. Look at it. Look at it every day. Hold yourself accountable. And that desire, always remind yourself of your desire of why you want that. If there's pictures, I know we've all heard of the, here, I've got mine right here. I love it. Vision board.
Yay.
I like that. Badass and beautiful. Can I say
Oh,
that?
I love that. That's cool.
That's my girlfriend's podcast. I love her.
Oh,
And
that's awesome. That's a great name. I love that I love that name.
I know, and she really is. But just having a vision board, I see that every day, and that's where I'm headed.
Mhm.
That's where I'm going. I'm going to make that happen. God helps those who help themselves. If you sit back and go, oh, I want this, I want that, but you're not doing anything, it's not going to happen magically. Poof. Oh, there's no magic wand. But if you did have a magic wand, go ahead and tap yourself, and where would you want to be? And that's the vision you want to create. Think about if you had that magic wand, if you could just go, what would you create? So there's a lot to think about right there.
I believe we are the divine creators of our own experience, and we get to choose whatever that experience is, and we can create it by taking the action, and we can wave our magic wand, and whatever we want is ours for the choosing. We just have to take the action, because living in this third dimensional reality, which is the world that we live in, everything is very slow.
Absolutely.
But it happens by taking action. That's how we live.
Yes. And even though, Amy, I can't move forward fast, okay, because now I'm working in a job that's, 8 to 10 hours a day, some 6 days a week. I'm taking little steps, but in the right direction.
Yep.
So if people think about it, I think some of us think that we have to do these great things like Oprah Winfrey, right? Yeah. We have to be this big thing, but a lot of us are not cut out for that. If you do small things, do them great.
And even Oprah Winfrey does small things. I mean, she has to do small things every day as well. She didn't start off having this multi-billion-dollar business. I mean, she started off as an anchor on a small television network.
But she had desire.
She had desire, and she had ambition, and she had a goal. Right. And back then, she probably didn't think that she would become what she is today. Maybe she did, I don't know. But she started off as something small, taking small steps and moving in that direction.
Absolutely.
And it didn't happen overnight.
Oh, and all those small things add up.
Exactly.
So that's, I think, the key there is
exactly.
Know where you're going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have a roadmap, a plan. And there are always bumps in the road. And it's like you said, having the GPS. And just like with the GPS, I mean, sometimes you take the wrong turn, but the GPS will redirect you.
Yes, it does.
And put you on a different, eventually you get right back to the road that you were on.
Sure.
Eventually.
That desire stays there
and
get right back. You don't think, oh, I've messed up. I ate chips today. Oh my gosh, I'm ruined. No, just get back. You took the wrong turn. Oh, there you go. I took the wrong turn, but there you go. I'm going to be right back on that exercise or whatever. You're going to be right back on that path. Just don't let it take you too far. It's going to be back. Just keep that desire focused.
And it's all about the experience as well. Because sometimes when you go off the path, that increases the desire and allows you to refocus.
Yes.
And create an even bigger desire.
Yeah, good.
Or reemphasizes, or even tweaks that desire a little bit more because you've experienced something else. And you're like, oh yeah, now I see it a little bit differently because you've had a different experience. So it puts a different perspective on what it is you're looking at as well.
But just don't give up.
Yes.
Giving up. You are worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, okay, so people can find you at your podcast at Unique Sparkles.
Your Unique Sparkle is the podcast.
Love that name. I love anything with sparkles. And do you have a website?
I don't have a website. No, not at this time. So
Okay.
it's just the podcast. You can find the Instagram, Your Unique Sparkle, and I'm on Facebook as well, Your Unique
Okay.
Sparkle. So find me there. Yeah.
Yay. And they can email you at youruniquesparkles@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And they can also work with you as well. You are a coach.
Health and life coach as well.
Love it.
Love to help anybody that wants to just find their better self. Just work on, being you, the best you can be.
And find you. That's perfect. I love that. Well, one of the things I like to ask all of my guests, and it's something that I love hearing the answer to, is if you had an hour to spend talking with someone, whether that person be alive or who has crossed over to the other side, and you get to spend an hour on a park bench somewhere, someplace fabulous with sparkles and everything, who would that person be? And what would you talk about for an hour? What would you ask them?
You're going to get me to cry.
I don't mean to make you cry.
Right? Well, and of course, you'd probably think of somebody famous, but for me, I've lost my mother 2 years ago. It would be my mom.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Moms are good to talk to.
They are good. And I feel like I'm going through all this alone, and I've always had her. But she's in my heart now. I have to put it there because I won't be able to talk here soon. Wow. Thanks, Amy. Get your guests to start crying. It's like one of the talk show.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. But yeah, I would share with my mom everything I've done. She'd be so proud of me.
Oh, she is.
She always put me in pageants when I was little, and gosh, she would have been so proud to have seen me up on that stage. In fact, when I went to go see her in the nursing home before she passed, she even mentioned to me, I can't wait to see you. So
she experiences it with you now, even still.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's there. Oh, I love it. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, Amy, thank you for having me. Today, I think we just had a beautiful conversation, and hope your audience loves it. I love you. Love it. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us and being on Butterfly Kisses today and sharing your experience and your story and your transformation. And thank you for being you.
Well, let's go be awesome today.
Yay. Yes. Awesome. Have an awesome day.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Butterfly Kisses, a journey of spiritual transformation. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. This way you won't miss it when a new episode is released. Also, if you're interested in learning more about Akashic Record readings, you can schedule a free 15-minute consultation with me by visiting my website at amygray-cunningham.com. Again, thank you, and remember, always spread your gorgeous wings, my friend, and fly. Until next time, see ya.